alone in my bed with all these thoughts in my head and living silently inside. It's so late in the night, my mind is drifting away. Then I dream about times I wished for a new, happier day. If a hand could reach out right now and save my life somehow, I'll face the sun again as soon as this dreary night ends. Don't wanna go down like this. My head's in a place that I don't miss. So ugly, so grumpy. Sleeping in the meantime, just stay comfy. Once everything's said and done, I know I'll be okay, I will overcome. I'm hoping I'm here. I remember last year when I was alone in my bed, unhappy thoughts in my head, and living silently inside. Just keeping all to myself. Wished I could be somewhere else. Back when I could only hide. It's so late in the night. My mind is drifting away. Then I dream about times I wished for a new, happier day. If a hand could reach out right now and save my life somehow, I'll face the sun again as soon as this dreary night ends. In the night, my mind is drifting away. Then I dream about times I wished for a new, happier day. If a hand could reach out right now and save my life somehow, I'll face the sun again as soon as this dreary night ends. I'll face the sun again as soon as this dreamy night ends.
It's a race, gonna chase every second, every minute, every day. Take a shot in the dark. Battle scars gonna go and leave a mark. You know we're running wild. We're never bowing down. You know we take the crown. Race it to the top, never gonna stop. Make a drop. Make a move on the run. Already won, even though it's just begun. on my sight. Flashbang, vision white. I stay on my grind every night. You know we're running wild. We're never bowing down. You know we take the crown. You know my name. Always in the game, taking aim. You know we're going crazy. You know we're running wild. This is our anthem, baby. Turn up and play it loud. Gonna take a chance. Oh, 'cause it's right there in the crosshair. And you know I'll take it down. Oh, just take aim.
If there was a zombie apocalypse, I'd let my dog eat me.
Alright, hi. I'm just gonna check that everything is working. And everything with sound and stuff. So, in my dual in everything. Yes. I'm sorry for the shakiness. I could hear that right there. I'm gonna turn off the music. And over to the game, hopefully. The game is showing up. Again, need to check. Yep, superb. I just I'm sorry. Bleh. I have a throat that is a little bit annoying right now. I need to drink some water. Why? I didn't do that before. Who knows? Who knows at this point? Alright, so let's start the game. Start the game. Continue. Load, confirm, menu. Alright. I'm pretty sure we... Okay, so here we get to choose one of these. I think let's just start from an end with shopping. I don't remember the voice that I made, so come back before it gets dark. Alright, sport. The family voice drifted across the street and drew your attention away from the snail you have been watching increasing slowly across the pavement. That really feels like something I would do, to be fair. I would just watch a snail on the pavement. It is legit something that I have done before. Crover waited in front of his dad, pushing his green hair behind back of his face, from where the breeze was blowing it over his glasses. He looked to be paying only a middle amount of attention. That was it, a middle amount of attention, as he was being handed a few slips of green paper. Ooh. It reminded you of when you first met Mr. Holding ahead, holding, although he probably not pay Grover to be friends with himself. That is a good one. Clover's dad, it seems to feel your gaze somehow, or maybe you made a notice because a second later his eye went on you. He waved you over with a smile. Great. He looked happy to see you, but you still felt a little weird. For getting caught. You've got to learn how to be more sneaky. You brushed your hands you brushed your hands through to free them of sand. Then jogged over to join the two, smiling at Grover first and then his dad. Jamie, hi. Oh, that dad's voice. Good to see you again. Wait, I can't speak. What an example are you up to today, Jamie? What is it experiment? Maybe it's experiment. I'm dyslexic. Don't call me out for this shit. Taking a walk. I found a pretty cool snail across the road. There are lots of snails around here. Mr. Holding grinned at you kindly. After you finished answering the questions, Mr. Holding's attention returned to Grover, who was preoccupied with finding the bills he had into a tiny rectangle. Clover's dad sounds fun. You know, Clover was about to hit the stone by the beach. The store, not the stone. The store by the beach. Why don't you go with him? You gave a real ready nod, turned to square in the direction of the store like you could see the gods they had to offer all the way from where you stood. Yay, let's go on a shopping strip. Oh, it's that okay? I don't mind. Great. Great. I'm sure you guys will have loads of fun. Mr. Holding reached into his pocket and pulled out a leather wallet filled with money. You found it odd, since your mom's only ever seems to have cards in theirs. Interesting. You know, his dad could have some malicious going on if he just has money. Like, to be fair, I always have money in my pocket in my wallets because of my anxiety, but I don't know if they has an entire wallet just like filled up with things. It might legit just be you know, something malicious going on. It probably isn't because of what this is about. But you know, you never know. Here, he leaned in. Oh. He leaned in to pass the crisp 10 to Clover, giving him a wink and a whisper. Get something for your friend too. Oh, neat, we're getting stuff. Or hopefully, sure. That's my boy. Clover's dad ruffled his son's hair as he was straightened back, the bill in his hands still held out towards the green-haired boy. The bill? Is that the money? Take care. Clover's attention accepted the bill after a second and slipped it into his pocket. Then, with one last nod to his dad, he turned and started walking away. You follow after him, trying after him, entangled and at the possibility entangled at the possibility inquired at the possibility this outing might bring. Clover straight towards the general tide creeping up the sand, and you fell into a place beside him. It was a nice day. The sun was shining, and there weren't many clouds in the sky, though the wind might come off the ocean. Coming off the ocean kept it from being too hard. You took a deep breath, enjoyed the scene of salt and the ocean air. When you looked at Clover, he was dragging his feet through the sand a little, and you slowed down to wait for him. His eyes searched in the ground instantly. For snails? Are you looking for shells? I think this one will be good. What is it? You need to ask. You're looking for shells! Clover startled a little at the sound of your voice, and mumbled sort of. If you see any, you can let me know. You could manage that. You dropped the view to the sand, walking carefully so you didn't step on any. You were good at finding shells. You had lots of them at home and always found new ones whenever you visited the beach. There, the comforting sound of the waves filled the silence with pleasing white noises. You played a little game with yourself as you walked along, getting closer to the water close to the water as possible without getting wet. Do. This resulted in you having to run up the sand quickly when the wave rushed in more than a few times, and although Clover threw a few glances your way, he didn't say a word. You didn't either. Why did you want to go to the shops? What do you usually do at the beach? Why did you want to go to the shop? I need a new sand pail. Yeah. What happened to the old one? Clover narrowed his eyes and seemed to think deeply for a second. It disappeared. What, really? Cover dunked his head down, leaned his fingers behind his head. It didn't seem like he was going to continue, so you nudged his arm. How did that happen? Well, Clover opened his mouth, then shut it again, considering. I took it to the beach one day. And when I got home, it wasn't anywhere. You left it there. Nope. It was at the beach when I went back. Then you lost it? It disappeared. What about you? What do you do out here? Nothing. I build sandcastles. I look at the fish. I like swimming. I don't come to the beach a lot. I do like swimming. Hopefully this character does not have dysphoria like me, you know? Swimming is kinda hard when that happens. I like looking at fish. They don't seem to like me, so they always swim away if I get close, but they're pretty before that. Cool starfish. Oh, that was me, sorry. I did his voice for me. Ew. Cool starfish are fun. They aren't going anywhere, even if you touch them. That is true, Clover. You are right. A small laugh escaped you. It's probably more like that than like. That's true. You reached the shopping area. The noise levels grew exponentially. That's a fun word, exponentially. No longer just waves and footsteps, but the chanting of people enjoying the lovely summer day. They called off birds. They called off the birds trying to find bits of food left behind, and lots of salespeople trying to get attention. You shoveled the air as you walked beside Clover. You could still smell the ocean. but there were other scenes now too. Pizza, pretzels, hot donuts. Isn't that weird? Hot donuts? Or is that just like me that has an understanding of what that donuts is supposed to be cold? Is that like just a me thing that I'm like, oh yeah, they need to be cold? Like, I don't get it. What is the idea behind that? Like, I'm just very confused. It's nice. What did he ask? I know. Or am I just supposed to be like, it's alright, it's not nice, I guess? The energy surrounding the area seems to fill you, and there was a bonds in your step as you began looking at all the familiar sights. Ooh, yes, people. There were so many things to do, you didn't know where to begin. You looked at Clover, hoping he was just as excited as you were. Clover was glancing from one side to the other street to the other with a look in his aquamarine eyes. That is quite a sentence. Aquamarine. It's quite a color that you couldn't quite work out. What's that? Clover pointed at a large crowd of people gathered near a few tables with large colorful umbrella bloomings from their myrtles. You couldn't see past the adults who were blocking the way, but you knew there must be something worth seeing. Without another word, the two of you hurried over to see what all the commotion was about. Oh, it's the magic person, Amazing Alexander. Fellas, feather your eyes on the Amazing Alexander. In the center of the crowd, people was a man with a tall hat and funny green coat that had three long tails. There was a little table next to him with a cloth hanging off it that read The Amazing Alexander. In glitter golden script. Why tell people his name if it's already on a sign? Clover, humming with understanding, then turned to walk away just as the Amazing Alexander began sharpening the card trick. Jamie, maybe we could stay and watch. Clover glanced back at the man. He then briefly lifted his arm up, offering his hands side before returning them to place. You grinned, waved for him to follow you as you raced back to stand in the crowd. with that it began. The magic man pulled one card out of his deck, showing it to the curious onlookers. It was a 4 of diamonds. Wait closely. You didn't squint through a few of the adult onlookers to get a better view. Suddenly the man shaped his finger and the card just disappeared. Wow! Clover ... The amazing Alexander, who had earned his title, turning his head and looked directly at you, he reached out with a kind smile. What is behind your ear? Tell me! This had to be going somewhere and you needed to find out. He smiled like popcorn and candy when he stepped closer. It was great. You felt a tug and then he pulled the 4 of diamonds out from behind your ear. Oh. You knew that it couldn't really have come from your ear, but you still didn't get how he had done it. There was a light applause from the crowd, and the man gave a deep bow. This is for you. The magic guy plucked a pair of balloons from a clump of them and tied down to his table. Both were in the shape of dolphins instead of being normal circles. And one for your friend too. Thank you for being my assistant. Wow. Now you were really great. Now you're really grateful he chose you. After that, he went to the crowd, went to someone else in the crowd. Pick a card, any card. My uncle does that every time he visits not the balloons, the stuff with the cards. Clover spoke plainly, White reaching over and to take the dolphin that had been decided for him. Maybe it wasn't so special. Clover, it's just running the fun. At least you had a fun time. You wondered if Clover's whole family magic. At least you had a fun time. You saw at the magic trick and you got a great balloon. That was more than enough to make it worthwhile event. You thought that if you could find a card to practice with, maybe you could, maybe to disappear too. The crowd started to clear some and noticed to the side there was a whole rack of bright colored Kelnos on display. I know what that is. Kelnos? You pick a Kelnos. You picked a Rubik's Cube. You pick a magical 8-ball. You walk past the toys. I know what that is. A calscope Rubik's Cube. Oh, these are cool. Will you hold my balloon while I look at this? Clover nod, taking your balloon and holding it in the same hand as his own, so you could get a good grip on the cube. He stood next to you and watched you attempt to match the colored rows. You managed to line up the green squares on one side of the cube, but there were still few more sides to go. Deciding that it was something that you should continue another time, you set the cube back the rack and took the balloon from Clover, who moved to the other side of the stall. He went underneath the awakening awareness carefully off his hands on the floating dolphin, and you joined him. Did you have any place like this in your town? Are you having fun? I didn't really know, I don't really like it here. You say nothing. I think this in your old town. Clover blinks at you for a moment and you wonder if you shouldn't have asked. You knew how much he missed that place. Not really. You nod in understanding, looking over at the nearby stalls. Oh my god, all these pictures. It's so cute. Look at those pictures. Oh my god. While Clover looked at sand pals, you were drawing to the table with colorful keychains sat out on it. There were shown in the shape of sea creatures. That was sewn in shapes of sea creatures, and there was plenty that read patches that read handmade. Stand proudly in front of it. There were lots of different types. You saw dolphins, sharks, crabs, and turtles. They're so cute. Pick the dolphin. You picked the shark. You picked the crab. You picked the turtle. I picked the turtle. Your hand drops on the sleeping turtle, just barely poking its head out from underneath its shell. I just love turtles. They're so cute. I love the turtles. It had a flex felt of metal green on its back that caught the sunlight when you picked it up. Oh my god. Oh my god, that seems so cool. You remembered the turtle you had seen in the movie you had been memorized by the way getting glittered through the water. I'm just getting some water from my water bottle. I'm just putting it up in a glass next to it. Chill. You were instantly immoral. Check the price though your heart fell. $6. You didn't know how much after about money, but you thought that was a lot to spend on one thing. You'd rather have more a $5 bill to your name. You rarely had more than a $5 bill to your name. Is that what you want? Huh? Oh, it's $6. I didn't bring any money. It's fine. Really? Are you sure? Really? Are you sure? Hooray. You don't have to. Are you sure? Clover took the keychain from your hands. And that was that. He was holding a small yellow bucket for himself too. I was always going to get you something. I already got the money for it. You smiled, pleasing at having things work out. It was nice of Clover's dad to let Clover buy something for you too. You had to remember to thank him next time you saw him. After Clover paid, the two of you stepped out of the store side by side. Your balloon dolphins knocking together and spiraling around in the air. You watch Clover hold up his new pal to his face, examining it. Hey, Clover? Yeah. Dad gave you a lot of money, huh? I really like this tea. Thank you. It's nice. Clover looked further down the street where different food carts were lined up. He restarted his non-casted arm off his stomach, and just as he did, yours let out a light groan. You hadn't eaten since breakfast, and after all of this wandering around, you were definitely ready for some lunch. Food! I know it doesn't say it, but like, this is how I'm feeling. Food. Let's go get some food. Yay. You two wandered around a short while looking at the delicacies that were available. Eventually deciding this delicious, and as the different smells were both sweet and salty waves over you, your stomach growled even louder. After passing up hot dogs, snow cones, I have never tasted snow cones before in my entire life due to my nationality and due to where I is around the world, and I haven't visited a place with snow cones, but it just seems so good. Like, I so badly want to try snow cones. Like, that is my, like, one American thing where I'm like, oh my god, this seems so fucking delicious. And I just don't know how to make it at home. I need to figure out, I need to, like, do, like, a research of how you can make snow cones at home, because I want snow cones. I need to write that down. I want snow cones. I don't actually know where the fuck my things are, but I'm gonna write down. I make snow cones. Done. After passing up hot dogs, snow cones, ice cream, and pizza, both of you agreed on pretzels. Pretzels are delicious. Clover got some sweet and cinnamon, and you got a plain one, got a cheesy one, got one with sprinkles. This seems good. You licked your lips hungrily as the vendor handed you pretzels over, ready to big bite. It had vanilla coating and 100 of colored sprinkles. My favorite sprinkles. It is literally my favorite sprinkles. I am 10. These sprinkles are fucking great. I've never tasted any sprinkles other than these in my entire life, and I stand by them. They are the sprinkles. Just the way you liked it. Exactly. Your moms didn't like you eating too much sugar, but this was a special occasion. Yes, your moms aren't here. That is how we deal with that. You found an empty table across close enough to the beach that a gif of the sand made terrible noises when you dragged the chairs to sit down. The grains! The grains of the sand made terrible noises when you dragged chairs out across it, sat down. These balloons are gonna make it hard to eat. Clover passed his bucket onto the table as he started at his balloon up. Oh my god, sorry, I just fucking blanked. Clover placed his bucket on the table as he started at his still balloon up hand and wrapped around the string. Okay, so he wrapped. I think he wrapped the balloon around the bucket or something like that. And you opened your mouth to agree before an idea hit you. I know. After carefully placing your pretzel somewhere it wouldn't get sandy, you tucked the balloon dolphin out of Clover's hands and tied them in a delicate bow around his wrist. Oh my god! I didn't think of this. That's fucking amazing. Do that. Why hadn't I thought of that? Well. Oh. Clover bunched his arm up and down in place, testing the stability of your knot. After watching his balloon jostle around but remaining attached, he smiled. Can you do mine? Can you do it for me? He repeated the ritual. Clover struggled somewhere with casting the restring his finger on the one hand and a string already tangled out another around the other. He cast restringed his finger. Okay. Got it. The two of you spent a moment admitting your handwork, both hands now free, allowing easy munchy on your pretzels. You bit into the Daltrees, savor the taste on your tongue with a smile as you looked out over the ocean. After a time you finished your pretzel, you were done before Clover. It was boring not having to do and have to do. You pulled on string of your balloon to bring it down to your level. Then you held the dolphin in your hands, manipulating it to make it look like it was jumping through the air. If you turned face towards the beach, it almost looks like it was swimming through the waves. It really is waves like a real dolphin. A laugh came from your side. When you glanced back at Clover, he had left the remaining parts of his pretzel on the wrap, and he was gripping his dolphin too. My name is Merriweather. He is the Prince of Dolphins. My name is Splash, their star in the movie. My name is Cherry. She really is an actual alien. That's a fucking fun rhyme. I don't know if it's a reference, but that's a good ass rhyme. My name is Sam. They're just a regular dolphin. I think this one. He waved a crown, making a seaweed. He wears a crown made of seaweed, and all of his friends are merfolk. Even now and then he makes friends with a kid and lets them ride on his back. Your slide waist washing could mean a real dolphin like Merriweather. What's your name? Clover considered this question, placing the balloon against the table and resting his free arm across the complaint. It's with a loud pop. The dolphin. No! Exploded. No! Oh no! No! For a second, all Clover did was choke like you, and then his cheeks. His eyes. No! Jimmy, it's. You offered. It's either this one, right? It's either one of these. This one is rude as fuck. It isn't really, but this is the things that I would do in real life. I would probably do this one. You look at Clover, then you up to your balloon, bobbing it gently around in the air. You can have mine. That was better than letting him cry more. Clover sniffed, glancing up at the balloon and begged, "No, it's yours. I don't want to take it from you." "Oh, it's really..." Clover had even though it wasn't your fault, you felt bad. Still, that often seems to lift Clover's spirit, and that was good. The passing of Clover's balloon was the last major event of your adventure. In the end, the two of you headed back late the afternoon. You spent a while on the beach, and while Clover was sitting, went straight home with his brand new sand pal in his hand. You decided to sit for a while. You watched the waves and the sunset, fiddling with your new keychain. Another summer day was drawn to a close. It had been a good one, especially for the sad final note. Oh, now we're done with that. Take some more water. Let's just drink some more water. Fill this fucking thing that I have on my table. This glass with the rest of the water from this water bottle. Alright, so long day growing up. Sandcastles, Firefly. Growing up seems fun, but Fireflies also seems fun. Let's do Fireflies. Tonight! Alright, tonight we are going to catch fireflies. At this bunch, but blurred declaring from your sister, you looked up from your macaroni and cheese dinner. Oh, that's good. Macaroni and cheese is good shit. Fireflies were a familiar sight over summer, coming out on warm nights to dance through the sky. Tonight was particularly bouncy. You knew there were a bunch to be a ton of them around. Mom in the corner. Oh, you are? Are you? Oh, are you? Are you? Yeah. You start eating faster. Look over at your mom. You push your food around. Yeah. You rocked slightly. You rocked lightly from side to side in your seat. Already excited for your after dinner activity. Catching fireflies was great way to spend the summer evenings and you could already envision the light already envisioned the little light bugs drifting through the dark night sky. That is a good idea, Lizzie. Can we... No, that's right. That's right, I put their last name. That's right, I put their last name as my name because I had no idea. Mrs. Onyx. Salome tripped his fork. Silo tripped his fork against the table excitedly, his face lighting up as he looked at Lizzie. It was unusual for Silo to still be here, like always, his mom had to bring him over really early in the morning before her job started. But normally she would pick him up by now. She would have picked him up by now. She called before dinner, letting your moms know she would be late. You didn't hear why? Probably more work things. True. I think work. You thought maybe getting a hand out with Silo for a long for how long it would make Lizzie want to keep running around outside. Staring at home and watching TV was never an option for her with guests over. That's why you were pretty sure she'll get your moms to agree. Well, it's already so dark out there. Well, you needed to be dark to see them, Mom. Lizzie gave Mom the big puppy eyes, the big puppy dog eyes. She could slowly spooning macaroni and cheese into her mouth while you waited on their response. Let's them go. Night like this don't happen every day. Your parents excitedly exchanged a look, then Mom eventually sighed and nodded back. Yes. Along with Lizzie's cheer, you threw your arms up in triumph, but waited until you finished cheering to say anything because you knew it was rude to talk with your mouth full. Fine. Just make sure you stay on the hill behind our house with all the puppies. Okay. Duh, Mom. That's where most of them are. The idea had only just been planted in your head, but already you could just picture all of the glowing lights spreading out from you like fairies from the bedtime stories Mommy would read sometimes. All too quickly it came to rains to see who could finish their food first. No choking at the dinner table now. That's right. If someone dies, we have to cancel the Firefly trip after all. Mom said it like a joke, but you knew that they were both telling your kids to slow down. Yeah, definitely, obviously. Silo didn't when you glanced at Lizzie, you saw her still eating faster than she should. Elizabeth? Sheesh. No one is gonna die. Sheesh. And no knocking on the door interrupted Mom before she could not doubling your sister. I'll get it. Your big sister jumped out of her seat and ran over towards the door, pulling it open without even looking out through the window to see who it was. Huh? You shuffled your seat to try and get a glimpse of the unexpected guest. Good evening. Good evening, Clover. Your mommy had already walked to the door by the time you managed to see past Silo's floppy hat. Oh, Clover, hi. You're here. Clover smiled at your exhausted breathing, and your mom, hoped Mom wouldn't ask him to stay. It didn't matter why he was there. It meant he could join you all in catching fireflies. Then, for a few seconds, Clover said nothing. He just stood there and looked up at your mommy with a face almost like he was considering turning around and leaving. My dad told me to drop this off 'cause I guess he borrowed it from you. Clover took a familiar screwdriver from out his large side pocket, eyes now dropping to the floor. We are left outside back when we move. Great. Thanks. Bye. Thank you. Here, why don't you come inside for a bit? Lizzie crossed her arms and lifted her chin. Clover struggled and Mom stood up from the chair too. I'll give your dad a call and let him know. I'll give your dad a call and let him know you got here. Alright? Clover shoveled his fully inside, eyes remaining on the ground. Mommy closed the door behind him. Hi! Let's try and see if we can remember this voice. I can't, I'm just making up new voices. Hi, Clover. Silo gave him a friendly smile, waved by holding up his hand, and opened up and closed his finger. Clover nodded in response. Clover could join us. Clover, are you going to catch fireflies with us? You could come outside with us if you wanted to. You weren't sure. Clover, you can come outside and catch fireflies with us. Yay, let's catch fireflies. Woo! Fireflies. You could see Lizzie eyeing your mention the exhaustion to an outside, but she gets over it. You hope that Clover would say yes. That's the way you wouldn't be the odd one out with Lizzie and Silo anymore. I could I could do that. I never catched one before. It's too bad he didn't have a chance before now. The fireflies were out when he first moved in, and there must not have been anywhere he used to live. Or he just didn't catch any. I've never caught fireflies before either. Is that weird? I don't know if that's just... We can't go until after dinner. After she pointed out, Lizzie walked back to the table and took her seat. There wasn't much left on her plate, since this was very true. You decided to finish up your own stuff as well. Clover stepped closer and eyed what were on the menu for your family's meal. Have you eaten yet? Yeah, my dad and I ate earlier. What? Silo, what's your voice? What did you have to have? Eggs. I know, I give him like an emo voice. I guess. The clambering one word answer seemed to discourage Silo from asking any more question. His eyes slowly wandered back to the last scape of food on his plate. On his plate, okay, because of Silo we were talking about, yes. Her phone called with Clover. Her phone called with Clover. Stat must have ended because your mom came back into the room. Clover, your dad said you can stay for a little while if you like, but he's going to come get you before it's getting too much late. Sure. Oh, fun. This will be so nice. As well as you polished. I've never heard that. Off your meal, polished off your meal. That sounds like when you're like polishing off shoes or something like that. That's just weird. As you polished off your meal, you hoped it would be too late. There are three of you. The three of you all finished eating slowly after, and Lizzie leaded the way outside. Remember, don't stray too far. It's fine, Mom. Silo trailed so closely after Lizzie he was nearly stepping on her heels. Clover hesitated at the door. Coming? After a moment he did. Bye, children. Bye, children. The two of you were a good teen? The two of you a good teen or 15 feet, or 10 or 15 feet behind Lizzie and Silo by the time you walked outside, pushing the door shut behind you, watching their figures and getting further and further away. You're so slow, Jamie. We don't have all night. You started to run when you heard Lizzie's voice calling you by pausing when you saw Clover still was walking at the relaxed pace. Are you going to come? You trotted along with him. You walked with him. Are you coming? Clover gave you a quizzing look. No, I'm still going. Let's go, then. You picked up the pace, feet kicking up dust as you ran behind the house. After a second, Clover started to chase after you. Oh my god, this is so cute. Oh my god, cute. It didn't take long to reach the hill. You slowed down as you started to climb up a slow grind, speeding across your face at the glorious sight. Bright twinkling, isn't, I don't know, winkling or twinkling, light floating like billows on a wave. All around you, a little group of strayed teased across before darting away again. Wow. Silo took a moment to come over. You welcomed both of you to the hill. hi guys. It's really great out. It's really great out. Huh? See how many there are. Yeah. A firefly danced through the air, landing on Clover's sea green hair. Silo couldn't help but giggle. You and Silo couldn't help but giggle. You quietly looked on. You took a couple of steps back, trying not to spook the little bug as you admitted how it glowed so bright against Clover's hair. Clover raised his eyebrows, giving you a confused look, and Silo giggled. You registered to his head, and he reached up, making the firefly dart away. Clover jumped, then followed after the glow. Oh, look, Lizzie has one. That's amazing. Silo ran to the higher point of the hill, making sure not to lose his hat on or the backpack along. You hummed as the group divided and considered shifting your gaze to the dozing of other fireflies sailing around. The game was on. Okay. You had a bandage on your thumb, and you tried to be cautious of that. You had a bandage on your palm, and you tried to be cautious of that. You had two band-aids on your hands, and tried to be cautious of that. You were good and not getting cuts of or scratches, so you weren't too worried about that. I think that here. Spots one closer by your approval. It with assassin-like stealth, crouching down to make yourself seem like less of a threat. Slowly darting 1 foot in front of the other and creeping towards it, arms outstretched. You closed your hands around the little glowing orb carefully not to crush it. The firefly landed on your palm and emitted a docile, and you stared it down at your prize. It delighted. Its tiny legs tinkled your skin, and you giggled at the sensation. Clover kept up with his own targeting, but when he tried to grab it, his pink cast waved awkward through the air, fooling his effect to clamp his hand around the firefly. Clover waved. It vanished into the air with a dissatisfying expression on his face. You encouraged him to try again. You told him about the firefly you had. You made a joke about what happened. You didn't. Good, him. Let's do it again. You'll get the next one. Did you catch one? You nodded, and Clover gave up his hunt for a moment, coming closer and peeking in the coming closer for a moment and peeking at the insect still crawling across your palm. You held out your hand to lend it across, eyes widening the target behind his glasses. Clover remained hyper-focused, not focused because it doesn't have an F, but by the little bug. It's hyperfixated by the little bug as he inched his hands closer to yours. Ultimately, he settled his finger lighted over top of the one you were holding open. It tingled. You stayed very still. You pulled your hands. The last thing you wanted was to accidentally scare the shiny treasure off. True, that is the last thing we want. Oh my god, that is such a fucking cute picture. The firefly noticed the new connection. Crawling up onto Clover's hand, he quietly gasped. It worked! Yeah, you got one. Clover's lips turned up into a slow smile, and his eyes shined brighter than the bugs. Thanks, Jamie. With a laugh, he gave the palm of your hand a friendly smack before an awkward low five. Starting by the extreme moments, the tiny light disappeared before you could even blink. Your firefly was gone. I'm sorry. You scolded him. You forgave him. I forgive him. Thanks. Okay. That's okay. It couldn't keep it forever. Right. Bugs have to stay outside. Let's get another. You decided to collect more. You decided to sit in the grass and watch. Let's connect more. We can work together. His face broke into a wide grin. We'll get a bunch. With renewal vigor, you ran out into the hill. You're not sure how much time passed while you were in the tickling of it all. You could focus on was the adventure at hand, No curdling was safe from your gasps. After first you tried to keep a tally of how many of you had caught, but once the number grew higher than 10, you forgot. You had no more fingers left you couldn't count with. You were having the time of your life, racing up and down the hill with the crash of the ocean and the sounds of everyone laughing, although in the background. "Jamie, this way!" You followed the sound of Clover's voice to the top of the hills, watching as he scrolled his arms in the front of him, reaching with his fingers, and one narrowly missing the target. Clover and you were trying to scatter fireflies in the direction of the other. You showed him a technique that you had learned how to cup your hands correctly, and he listened attentively before trying for himself. There were a few times when you almost ran into each other, giggling as you dove to the side at the last moment. Luckily disappearing was avoiding each other's time. It was an overall huge success, with the both of you catching multiple fireflies each. Eventually, the fireflies began to thin out, and your energy started to lapse. You decided it was time to call off the hunt. Clover didn't complain. He breathed heavily, and his face seemed really fleshy. That was fun, a lot of fun. You smiled at him, broadening, happy that he had enjoyed the activity. Yeah, it was. Jamie! Clover, get up here. We're gonna have a race. The shouting caught you off guard. It had been quite a while since you've heard Lizzie and Silo. You glanced over to see them both standing on top of the hill again, Lizzie beckoning to you with hand gestures. If she was like that, you knew that wasn't much room to disagree. Up the inner lining you went. From the corner of your eyes you saw Clover was coming as well. He didn't care for Lizzie a lot, so you thought he might be interested just by the idea of the race. Hi, Clover, you can't roll down the hill. You could hurt your arm again. You'll be the referee for the rest of us. As Lizzie pointed out, Clover's froze in place. It was that kind of race. He front down down at his cast. That was the second time it had gotten in the way tonight. What? Yeah, you watch and see who gets to the bottom first. That's important. Got it? When the cast was studied, if he could oh fuck, dissociating. Alright, let's go back. The cast was studied. If he was careful, he could do it. Lizzie might just been looking for some reason to make someone else the referee, but it was already decided. You got into racing position. I'll stay with Clover. I'll stay with Clover. Really, why? You don't have to. It's okay. It's okay, I want to watch. You moved beside him on top of the hill, even though Lizzie eyed you and made a face. That's not how race works. We only need one referee. Shrugging your shoulders, you refused to budge, and Lizzie let out a huff. Let out a huh before throwing her hands in the air. Fine, I'll be the winner. Whether you join or not. Lizzie moved down, and Silo did the same. Clover stood slightly to the side to get better weighing point, and you stood next to him. Count down. Clover stood up, a little strained. It seemed like he was taking his new-found referee duel seriously. 3, 2, 1, go! Lizzie and Silo took off, letting gravity do its work and rolling at a high speed towards the bottom of the hill. You and Clover leaned towards to watch them go, eyes peeling for which of the two would reach the bottom first. They were both neck and neck until about halfway down the hill, Lizzie started to wheel off the side, giving Silo a huge advantage. Silo, she obviously had noticed a thing. As soon as Silo reached the bottom of the hill, he jumped up excitedly and threw up his hands in the air. I won! Almost immediately he fell back onto the grass, still dizzy from his rolling down the hill. Lizzie stumbled up off the bush she had ended up in, slumbering angrily and brushing leaves from the side of her dress. Not bad. You got lucky. Let's do it again and see who wins for real. Kids, it's time to come in. No. You sniffed, feeling grateful you had been a part of the mini debate. You caught Clover's eyes and saw that he was doing the same. It had gotten late and was beginning to feel just a bit chilly as you made your way out of the hill, but the cold of the air hadn't damaged anyone's spirits. The four of you walked back home together, side by side, down your neighborhood street, discussing the events of each, with each person trying to prove that they were the one who caught the most fireflies. You knew that whomever really did catch the most didn't matter much anyway. All that mattered was that you all had a good time, which jumped by a smile on everyone's faces. Oh my god, that was such a great adventure. I really wanna go until like 2 hours to the 2 hour mark, but the situation is that I feel like this is gonna be what I'm gonna do is also gonna take a little bit longer, so it might not be, but let's try and see. Let's do either one of these. I feel like long day might take a long time. Let's do Sand Castle, and I might end like halfway through and I'll finish this one quite up due to the fact of me getting a little bit tired, but I would like to at least run for these 20 minutes more, just to at least hit the 2 hour mark. Clover wasn't able to do many things that summer. When you and him and Silo sat out on the shoreline one bright morning, you could tell he wanted to be in the water, but there was no way he could swim any time soon. Not with his cast. The waves washed a single shell to shore, glittered and blue. Another remained of the place he could go. From what you heard about Clover's old life so far, in tiny pieces and frames, you could tell that he do anything to be able to get the cast off, like make a pact with a witch or something, just to get it off his arm. You thought about how his summer last must have been totally different from this, with his old home and his mom and dad. But now he was here with you and Silo and Lizzie and everyone else, and he couldn't even go into the sea. This town wasn't bad. It had all of your favorite things in it, but still they're on the same beach you grew up on. You couldn't understand that not everyone else felt the same way about Sunset Bird as you did. You watched him from the corner of your eyes, quietly, and he finally said aloud what you had been pondering. I wish I could go in. The water. The water. Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. You're going to be able to do it soon. Clover only sighed in response, appealing soon wasn't soon enough. It's so pretty, the ocean. Huge. There could be anything out there, like mermaids. Yeah! That is such a good line, yeah. Be anything out there, like mermaids. I wish you didn't have a cast. I really don't care. Swimming might be fun if we could. I'm fine here on land. Alright. Obviously not interested in hearing much more of your input on the situation. Clover turned back to the water, but as he looked away, something about Silo's slow, careful moving eyes. Hey, are you building a sandcastle? Sort of. I was only playing around while you were talking. I'm listening. Maybe I could too. I've made big palaces before. It's really nothing special. I'm sure you'll be good at it right away. Oh well, how do you do it then? Silo lifted up, and you could tell he was a little bit uncomfortable to have Clover staring at him. I'll play too. Sorry, that was Silo's voice. I make sand stuff. I love making sand stuff. I've never really made one from it there. I love making sand stuff. Okay. He pulled his hand back to his seashell and sand and nodded. I don't do a lot. Here's how I like to get a house started. Silo focused, more intense than you have ever seen him, guiding Clover through his process. You happily used your own method. It didn't take long for the three of you to have a humble structure prepared. Oh my god. I can't stay in the same position. Oh my god, fucking. Fuck. This is just me. Can't see this, I'm fumbling. There are all kinds of. That's all kind of. You can do anything now. I like to make it big. Add some seashells, carving a pretty pattern. I bet you have great ideas. I'm gonna make it bigger. Mine is going to be a real castle. Cool. This is really gonna be a house. Looking at the base of the sandcastle you decided to make. a house, a castle, a mansion. Looking at the base of your sand castle, you decided to design a mansion. The better part of the next hour was spent focusing on your own work. The boys were the same. Even Silo didn't sneak as many peeks as everyone else. He usually did. Ooh, that's the first one. You finished sharp before each of them did, glancing up from what you designed. It is really cool. I do like that. That looks really cool. It seems you got done so fast because they were already searching around for extra decoration. Silo had grabbed most of the really interesting stuff, and Clover had a lot of shells, but there were still options. The first thing you reached for was a red bottle cap, blue seashell, green pieces of blue seashell. It was the best fit for your mansion. You decided the blue color of it still reminded you of the clear water, so you put it in a funny place where it take a second looking at it. Pleased with your result, you finally looked around. Was focused on the sand itself. Both Clover and Silos seemed super imbecile still. You knew you could probably sneak a peek at each one's work. You sneaked a look at Silos. Silos was definitely the best one out of all three of your building's sand castles. His was also the smallest, but there were so many great debris and careful sand sharps all over it, and each entire building that was effectively was obvious. Silo's little house even had a tiny garden. That is cute. I'm just imagining that now. By the front door and another one in the back, and made out of plenty pebbles and other bits and bobs. The silence was then broken. What's on the top of yours, Silo? You peeked closer and discovered something shiny sticking out from Silo's sand. Oh, it's just a gum wrapping. It looks like smoke. It's good. That's smart. Yeah, I didn't think of that. I guess I didn't see that. You should be kind of looks. Guess you can see that. Yeah. You'd be good, added Silo. Silo smiled without a word, and that was for an current topic. Jamie, Can I see what you did? Sure. He scooped a bit near and began surrounding your work. All you really knew about mansions was that they were supposed to be big, so you are going real big. It was the size of the country club that Lizzie played golf at, compared to Clover's and Silo's buildings, probably even bigger. Silo quickly decided to jump in the new conversation. Hey Jamie, what did you do? This is a mansion. It looks great. Your house is so big. It's not a house, it's a mansion. I guess mansions are really big houses. Thanks. You're welcome. Thanks. You're welcome. I don't think that's the same thing as a house. Huh? It's being a house bad? No, but we each make our own places. Nobody is the same. I think we are. Clover raised his eyebrows at that. If something is the only one of that thing, that makes it special. Yeah, for sandcastles and stuff. People too. My dad always said how nobody is their own man, a real individual. I don't think I'm. Why not? Nobody else is you. Silo simply shook his head. I'm not different. A beat passed between the two. Clover then looked down and at his work again. Okay. He didn't seem to be bothered leaving the disagreement hanging there. Clover had other things he minded. My dad tried to get me to make sandcastles the first time we came to this beach. I didn't want to. Clover tracked off again. There was another moment of silence. Silo shuffled and opened his mouth to say something, but Clover spoke before he could. You didn't think he'd notice that Silo was going to talk. Hey, do you know what happened when your mom's met my dad, Jamie? You waited to see if Silo would say what he wanted to say. When he didn't, you considered Clover's question. I was there. They didn't tell me. I just remember what happened when I met your dad. Mr. Holding had been a weird stranger then, when he was still kind of a stranger. No other parents acted like him, but you knew him better than that point. Nobody at now that you thought about it, made a lot of sense that Clover's dad had talked to him about people being unique. you were pulled off your thoughts when Clover continued. Oh well, I was there. I didn't think my mom had met your dad. I didn't think my mom has met your dad. I'm pretty sure she hasn't. Jamie's parents and my dad met the same day I met them. I'm going to say what happened. Silo fronted to himself, ducking his head. His hat cast a shadow down his face. You could still tell he was upset for not being included in Clover's chosen topic. That was kind of boring for him, though. Giving people their own turns to say the things they wanted to say is important too. So, I kind of want to continue this a little bit, but I have to eat. Kind of do want to finish it, but I do have to go downstairs pretty soon and eat. So, see how long I can do this. You stared silently. You let Clover finish the story. I think Silo could talk about stuff after Clover had a chance to share what he had planned on. When we moved out here, we didn't bring a lot of things with us. Only some stuff that would fit in Dad's car. We didn't even get a moving truck. I sat in there a while. Dad brought it all inside. I didn't really want to get out, 'cause I knew Dad would make me look around that new house. I really didn't want to do that. His lip twisted into a frown as he recalled that. Then I saw your moms. They were in a car too, and stopping at your house. I guess they were coming back from somewhere or something. My dad noticed. He waved his hand, then went over to the front of your house when he started talking to them. I didn't know what they said. I couldn't hear it, but he couldn't see me anymore since he was looking the other way. So I opened the car door and left. I wanted to get away and went beside the house, and I found those hills there, the ones where we met for the first time. Clover nodded, then stared at you. You stared back. He didn't go on to say anything anymore. Aren't you going to finish your story? Clover winkled like he didn't understand what you were surprised. That's all that happened. Okay. Why did you want to tell me what happened? You're really going to get better stories. That was a pretty bad story. Thank you for telling me. You're welcome. Even if not much happened, you were going to compile a complaint. You weren't going to complain about knowing their story. Silo's mouth twisted up into a scroll of belief, but he said nothing. Why did you bring that up anyway? There was a slight shrug of Clover's shoulder. I was thinking about it because of the sandcastle. It made me remember when I moved here. Dad showed me the beach first before we went back to the car and unpacked. He was really excited about it for some reason. Clover broke forward a little more as he quickly ran his hand through the sand. I get it. I get it. You thought maybe Mr. Holding had that experience exciting about the beach and was instead hoping Clover might. But you lined of the conversation had to come to an end. Even Clover wasn't done with it. Some other topic had probably into his head. Silo wrinkled up uncomfortably in the sand had made Clover aware of his presence again. They looked at each other, and you could only wonder what this might be about. Hey, Silo? Yeah? Why you're always turning so red, even when nothing is happening? Clearly startling, his jerk back. Nearly you or Silo had expected that. Neither you or Silo had expected that to be how he got included in the conversation again. I don't know, I guess. Okay, it's kind of weird. It's kind of weird. Don't tell Silo that it's kind of weird. I'm offended on Silo's behalf. Don't tell someone that it's weird that they are blushing. It's cute. No, we do not stand this. This is not good. Silo's eyes widened, embarrassed, and his lips twirled up, and he was blushing even harder than before. Maybe it wasn't only this, perhaps it was simply the last train, but it was a big deal to Silo, a huge deal. He didn't look sad, he just seemed almost panicky. You weren't sure if he was about to cry, run away, or whatever, but you soon got the answer. Oh. Yeah. He's waking up. Why do you wear glasses? Most kids don't wear glasses, and nobody is named Clover. Who asked you to come? It's your problem, just your dad bugging Jamie's family. Something more, 'cause you don't have anyone else who even plays with you. Clover blinks. The tension on the beach was suddenly uncomfortable in the way you didn't know how to laugh. It didn't seem like the kind of thing he get upset about, though you hadn't even known what kind of thing would bother Silo. I'm sorry. Me too. I was just wondering. Hey, let's build sandcastles. Try to play on your own. Are we gonna build more? You nervously messed with the sand. Hey, the day is going to be over soon. Hey, Jamie, you're right. The sun is going down so fast. You all went back to making more sandcastles, but the whole mood had changed. Silo's cheeriness was clearly gone, and Clover looked as confused as ever about why the other boy had blown out. The air started uncomfortably. The air started getting uncomfortable at the rest of the afternoon. Alright, right up to the moment that Silo's mom appeared at the beach to take him home. At least you tried to do something to resolve it, though, and it seemed like it helped. Even though Silo's smile were when he said goodbye to Clover, waved its starting as bright as you, even you. Clover's waved at starting as bright as wait for you. That had to count for something. But with Silo going and the sun going down, you knew it was time for you and Clover to head to your own houses. The two of you trailed off the park together towards the neighbors. The walk home was quiet. You passed by a familiar landmark. Shoes tumbled against the sidewalk in a near-perfect unison. Clover was clearly caught up in thinking about something. Something was different so you chose to reach out to ask him. Hey, Clover, is everything okay? You making a funny face. Oh, I was just wondering. Clover felt silent again for a few more seconds. Then, why is Silo act like that when I said he was all red a lot? You were being rude to him. He was just being a baby. You shouldn't have made fun of him. I don't know, it's just Silo. He gets embarrassed. He gets embarrassed. Embarrassment, but I didn't say anything that bad. It might have upset him anyway. Huh? I guess I could get it, why he would do that. Sometimes I get really mad too. Despite something coming to a conclusion, Clover's mood was still a little sour. Hey, Jamie, was Silo telling the truth? Huh? His gaze left his eyes and sold off his shoes into the ground as he looked oddly vulnerable for a second. Does my dad make you hang out with me? I know he talked to your moms about that a lot. And uncomfortably weighing sight in your chest at the question. You liked spending time with Clover. You didn't even have to think about it. Think hard about it. You knew you did. But you couldn't help feeling guilty. Clover still didn't know what happened with Mr. Holding. Nobody make me spend time with you. Your dad doesn't do stuff so you hang out with my family, but Silo shouldn't said that. Nobody. Clover is relaxing. You shouldn't have noticed. You had even noticed that he had tensed up. Yeah, that was what I thought too. Anyway, I didn't think you were pretending. I just wanted to make sure it was okay. It's all. Thanks for telling me. You throat tensed, tightened. It was hard to meet Clover's engagement gaze again. Keeping secrets was hard. You're welcome. By now, the two of you were on the sidewalk near your house. It was the time to part ways. Say goodbye. You hug Clover. Goodbye. You step forward to wrap your arms around him tightly. You turn your head, rest your cheek on his shoulder. Clover stood there awkwardly, with his hand in his side. He wasn't much of a hugger, but you didn't get that engaged. Hi! He was much a huge, Clover stood there awkwardly with his hand at his side. He wasn't much of a hugger, but you didn't get that impressed. He was unhappy. You didn't get the impression that he was unhappy that you were. Bye, Clover. See you tomorrow. Yeah, bye. You pulled away, then jogged towards your house. When you looked back, you saw Clover make his way back. Yes. I just hugged Clover. That's what happened. The guy who just were on the screen. That's what happened. That's the hug. When you looked back, you saw Clover making his way back to back home, as if he felt your eyes on him. He turned around, he waved, you did too. You still felt a little unsure with what you were supposed to do about that deal Clover's dad had offered. You didn't want to say something bad or something you shouldn't. You had no idea how Clover would take it. Either way, it would be terrible if it made him feel bad. What if he didn't want to play with you anymore? You might change your mind sometime. Me too. I do like hugs as well. But it's kind of awkward because I don't know with like particular people. I'm like, how am I supposed to do this thing? There's also some people who do like this weird hand thing where like you give them your hand. It's like that's like a very fairly normal thing where I'm from, but like you give them their hand and then they reach their hand and then they grab you in almost to do a hug. So it's like a weird hand hug thing that's really uncomfortable. I don't like those. But like most of the time with people, I just do like a wave or like a peace sign or something like that because it's quicker and then I'm gone. You might change your mind sometimes. There was always something after all, but for now it was definitely something that you keep to yourself. With a final look, you went inside your house. That was it. I am going to do this. There it is. And I'm going to end stream because I need to eat in a little bit, and that would be neat. I'm a little bit, in terms of streaming schedule, it's a little bit weird. Because of school and stuff, and I'm still trying to figure it out. But I think I'm gonna start streaming on Wednesdays. I did used to give those types of hugs where people come in and then lift them, but like most of my friends get really uncomfortable when I do that. So I don't do that much anymore, but it was a thing that I did for a while. But as I was saying, I think I'm going to be streaming at least on Wednesday, because I think that's a good day in terms of my school schedule. And actually a day where I'm not staying later and I don't have vocal lessons, which I do have one of the days. And then I don't remember if it's Sunday or Saturday that I am going to one of my mates' birthday parties, so there might not be anything in the weekend due to that. Yes, I will also give you a big hug. Over the internet. Thank you for the thank you. But that is about the time, and that's what I think will add up in the terms of things that will happen. I think that's it. So thank you for following. And bye.